It's a well-known fact about the U.S. presidency that it's never an easy job. Every U.S. president has had the opportunity to lead the country through challenges and changes, and Jimmy Carter's presidency was no exception. The 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter, James Earl Carter Jr., held office for just a single term, from 1977 to 1981. During that time he dealt with an energy crisis, high inflation, a war in Afghanistan and the Iran hostage crisis. While the question was Jimmy Carter a good president? Maybe up for debate, these Jimmy Carter quotes prove he's a man with a strong human rights ethic and a desire to represent the people that began in his youth. Here are the surprising things you didn't know about Jimmy Carter. Number 6. He installed solar panels at the White House. In the 1970s, America was undergoing an energy crisis. The country's support of Israel in the Yom Kippur War against a coalition of Arab states led to an oil embargo. Being almost entirely dependent on oil produced in those Arab countries, the U.S. saw gas prices soar as supply ran low. In response, Carter created the Department of Energy to research renewable energy that could be produced at home, especially wind and solar. On June 20, 1979, 32 solar panels were installed on the roof of the White House to heat its hot water. They remained there until 1986, when they were removed under Ronald Reagan's presidency. President Obama reinstalled solar panels on the roof in 2013, which remain there to this day. Jimmy Carter's presidency was one of the first times the public's attention was drawn to the idea and promise of green energy. He even had an ambitious goal for the U.S. to run on 20% renewable energy by the year 2000. Number 5. His nickname was Jimmy Cardigan. In a surprising presidential first, Jimmy Carter was the first president to use his nickname when sworn into office, Jimmy rather than James, but the Jimmy Carter presidency was marked by another nickname, Jimmy Cardigan, which he earned a mere 2 weeks into his presidency. After turning down the heat in the West Wing to save energy amid the crisis, President Carter donned a cozy beige cardigan for dinner one evening, then later wore it for a televised fireside chat and accidentally created a new moniker for himself. The casual look was a clue into Jimmy Carter's dislike of presidential pageantry. Number 4. He's one of 4 presidents to win the Nobel Peace Prize. After losing the presidential election to Ronald Reagan in 1980, President Carter and his wife Rosalind set up the Carter Center. The center was founded to allow the couple to continue the work they had started during Carter's presidential term, fighting for human rights and advancing democracy all over the world. In 2002, Jimmy Carter was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his actions, making him one of 4 presidents to receive that honor, alongside Theodore Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson and Barack Obama. Here's a piece of presidential trivia you could learn at the Jimmy Carter Library in Atlanta. He was the only one to receive the prize after he left the presidency. Number 3. He created the Department of Education. It seems like something as important as education should have had a government department from the very founding of the country, but the Jimmy Carter presidency was actually the first to create a cabinet-level Department of Education. In 1980, President Carter wanted to accomplish 2 things. First, to fulfill a promise he made to teachers' unions on the campaign trail by setting up the department, and second, to ensure that every child and adult in America had access to a quality education. With this in mind, President Carter expanded the Head Start program for early childhood education and doubled the government's spending on education. Given his commitment to education, it's no surprise that Carter is one of the presidents with the highest IQs. Number 2. He diversified the government and supported gay rights. Elected governor of Georgia in 1970, Jimmy Carter stated in his inaugural address that the time for racial discrimination is over. His gubernatorial administration allowed women and black people to hold offices in Georgia's government, a progressive move at the time, and he carried this view into his presidency, appointing record numbers of women and black and Hispanic people to government positions. In 1978, Harvey Milk, then mayor of San Francisco and the first openly gay man to be elected to public office in California, wrote to President Carter asking him to speak out publicly against Proposition 6, the Briggs Initiative, which aimed to ban gay men and lesbians from being employed by California school districts. President Carter did oppose the Briggs Initiative and became the first president to speak on gay rights. Number 1. He received the last telephone call from Elvis Presley. The photo of Richard Nixon with Elvis Presley is very famous. This photo is the most downloaded from the National Archives. However, Jimmy Carter is related to Elvis Presley. "Elvis is my cousin," Carter said confidently. "The reason is, Elvis Presley was related on Jimmy Carter's mother's side," reports CBS News. However, in 1977, Jimmy Carter got a call from Elvis Presley. It was only a few months since Presley's sudden death. There is speculation that before his death, Elvis Presley was given barbiturates. "I don't know what he said. His sentences were almost incoherent," Carter told The New Yorker. Jimmy Carter finally realizes that his cousin wants to ask for a pardon for a sheriff he knows, and that this sheriff is having legal trouble. Jimmy Carter tried to calm Presley so that he would not become paranoid and continue to have false illusions. Carter said, "I don't think he understands it. It was the last time his cousin spoke before Elvis Presley's death." Those are 6 surprising facts you didn't know about Jimmy Carter. That's enough for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel to help us to more enthusiastic about presenting other top 10 videos. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.